does.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Today's Thursday, November 16th. I know we try to make these videos on Wednesday, but a little hiccup this week. I apologize. So we're going to record today. But there's a Thursday night game. We hope to get some information into you so you can watch this and then the game. Without further ado, let me introduce my co-host, Danny Stone from Show Times. How's it going, Dan?
Hey, I'm thrilled to be here, Sammy B. I know we're re-recording after a little glitch, so hopefully we're sounding a little better this time. But thank you for having me. Always a pleasure. Check me out at the Danny Stone on Twitter, and please keep checking out Turf Show Times. Check out all of our articles, but feel free to read Danny Stone. He's here. He writes.
You sound good. You look good. I got my feeling basketball right now. So I got my Warriors jersey on, sleeveless. So
you look even better.
Nice. Well, we'll look into a recap. You know, we got week 11 coming up. Can't believe it's week 11. We tied for week 10. We disagree on 4 matchups. We'll talk about that. Actually, let's just hop into it. We'll see how we did. So we both went 9-5. You're still beating me by 1 game, which is upsetting. So pretty close to the end. We went 7-3 on the games we agreed on. So since we tied, I guess we'll both take 15 seconds or whatever. You want to start first?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Bills game, too bad for the Bills fans. The Rams are on bye week, so no real comment there. We probably touched on Carson Wentz last time, but no real takeaways. I guess we'll probably get into this week. Or I shouldn't say no real takeaways, but I won't take up too much of our audience's time with this one. Anything from you, Sammy B?
I did say the Rams weren't going to lose last week with Carson Wentz, and they didn't, so I was right with that. We disagreed on 4 picks, so I was crazy for taking Houston and crazy for taking Denver, but it worked out. So, of course, the other 2 I lost that you had right was I'm New Orleans, you had Minnesota. I forgot the last one, but it's just some of those games. But I can't believe Denver actually pulled it off. I was on the fence last time, and I knew they would cover the spread, but not actually win. So I'm happy they did. So.
I think the firing of Ken Dorsey, and this is my opinion, and I don't think I'm the first to say this by any stretch, but it's common sense, I think, to say that when a head coach fires the offensive coordinator, either it's the offensive coordinator's true fault or on some level, the head coach is faltering as well. So I think this really puts the spotlight on Sean McDermott to fix the situation. I also think that at a certain point, and this might sound crazy, but if Josh Allen isn't more careful with the ball and playing better, and he might find himself on a similar type of hot seat that Jared Goff once found himself in, for example. So I don't know. It's just very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if come playoff times the Rams aren't in it, the Lions looking pretty good. I might want to cheer for Jared Goff. You just mentioned his name, so it's pretty interesting. All right,
I'm rooting for. I mean, I always liked him. Not saying I definitely got frustrated with him. The Miami game, I think in 19, I think it was, really comes to mind. Brian Flores' Dolphins, but I always liked Jared Goff. In fact, I think I wanted to do a quarterback name game with you, but we can save stuff like that for the offseason. But I'm curious to see at the end of this year who's got a better trajectory into next season, Jared Goff or Matthew Stafford, which I guess would have been crazy to say a few years ago.
Yeah, be on the lookout for other videos. Like Dan mentioned, we're going to do some more. I know right now we try to do a weekly predictions, but we definitely want to get more involved. So without further ado, let's actually pull up. Let's see week 11 matchups. We got still a couple teams on bye.
We got to get our short videos up. That's what everybody wants, for the shorts.
Yeah, we need more shorts out there. We'll work on those. Sorry. So pretty fun Thursday night matchup here.
Truth.
Division matchup, Cincinnati going to Baltimore. I'll let you start this one, Danny Stone. Who are you feeling for this one?
I'm glad you asked, Sammy B. I'm pretty excited about this matchup. I think we both are. I expect it to be like a 17-14 type of game. I think you've told me more than once Thursday night games tend to be typically low scoring. I said last week I thought Patriots-Colts might be like 20-something. No, that game was a slog, I believe, as they say. So, but this game definitely has more potential to be a high-scoring game than that one. I just thought maybe they'd have fireworks going off in Germany, but I was definitely wrong about that. But that being said, I'm thinking that I'm thinking about this one today. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick the Bengals. I've been higher on the Bengals than you throughout the season. I know that I kind of backtracked a bit when they were like 0-2 to start or whatever it was, but they look good. I think they're going to get this win in Baltimore Thursday night. But I definitely think both teams are capable of making the playoffs.
Yeah, and real quick to touch on what Danny Stone brought up, the international game was last week for the Colts Patriots, and I made the comment of if it's international, take the under. I said those games are always low scoring. I know we talked about that for the
Yep.
Chiefs Dolphins, and that was under, like I thought, and then that one was way under, total of
Mhm.
16, 10-6. I was like, not even close. I am in a sweat. So I was gonna bring that up. So
You
I'm
were
glad you did.
right as rain.
I think I've seen different stats for this one. I think the Bengals as a team have not won a road primetime game in about 10 years. I don't know if it's like a 12-game skid. Obviously, Burrow
Oh,
hasn't been
wow.
there that long. Yeah, it's been a long time since the Bengals won on the road in primetime. So I am going to take Baltimore, and I already placed a bet on this one. I have Mark Andrews, tight end, to score a touchdown anytime, and Baltimore to win at plus 220 for those together.
I like that. You did both bets for like
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
I like that. I would so you need
Combined, they
both to
both have
hit.
to happen. So for
Yep.
plus 220.
I like that. I like that. I like that. I'll say this: a streak like that is eventually breaks. So I'll just kind of foreshadow that. But maybe it
Yeah, and you
keeps
were
going
right.
tonight. Maybe it's 13 in a row.
Yeah, and you were definitely right with how you pointed out. We definitely have different views of the Bengals this year. I thought they came around. I picked them for the last couple of games, but actually I picked Houston last week, so I was right with that. Feels good when you're right, but then there's games where I'm wrong. It sucks, but I mean, I think it'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
I'll definitely turn on in an
Yep.
hour or so. And then after that game, we move on to Sunday.
Hey, I'm in the same boat as you. I mean, we're about 50-50. So
Yeah. And I said we're only you have one game lead on me, so far we differ on one game. I don't see us differing too much coming up, but we'll see. We got a nice
yeah.
another divisional matchup. We got the Bears going to the Lions. Who you got in this one?
I mean, I'm going to take the Detroit Lions. I don't think there's too much to add at this juncture. I mean, if the Bears win, they have Justin Fields coming back, but I'm going to take the Lions. And this is a game the Lions should win. I mean, really, all respect to the Bears.
Yeah, this one, I'm definitely taking the Lions as well. They're favored by 7.5. I thought it'd be a little bigger than that, especially with the field still out. But yeah, give me the Lions.
I think Fields is playing. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think they expect him to play. David Montgomery revenge game. Let's see it. Go Lions.
Exactly. And I know we talked about on a prior show, Jared Goff is not good in the cold, but this is in a dome in Detroit. So give me Jared Goff at home for sure.
Yep.
All right, this next one, battle of the little cube boxes. We got the Los Angeles Chargers, great logo, versus the Green Bay Packers going there. I'll start with this one. I haven't been too high on the Chargers all season, but I think they're coming around. More so, I think Green Bay's been going down. I don't see Green Bay winning much more throughout the regular season, so I'm taking the Chargers in this game.
I agree with what you kind of said. I'm going to say basically the same thing. I think the Chargers are coming around, but at the very least, I think they're a better team right now than Green Bay. I will say, though, if Matt LaFleur wants to beat Brandon Staley, I wouldn't be shocked by it. I think he can out-scheme him. I mean, I'm really questioning – I mean, I hate to say this because I'm a big Brandon Staley fan. I thought what he did with the LA Rams was great, but he has really, I think, faltered as a Chargers coach, and it's not all on him. That's on the players as well. But at some point, somebody's got to take the blame, and it's probably not going to be Justin Herbert right now. So this is a game the Chargers should win, but I won't be shocked if they lose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how cold it is in Green Bay. I don't know how Herbert will do in the cold, so that's something to keep track of. But yeah, speaking of cold, we got a nice cold weather game here. Pittsburgh going to Cleveland. I've changed my mind so many times on this. We all know at this point Deshaun Watson's out for the year. That didn't really change the line too much. I think it went from 4.5 in favor of Cleveland minus 4.5 to 2.5. So not but big spread. I'll let you go. I'll just go first. This one, Danny Stone. Who are you feeling for this game?
I'm shocked that the lack of Deshaun Watson. I mean, say what you want about him. I know he hasn't had a great year, but I'm shocked that didn't really move the needle for you. I mean, when I heard that, SamMeeBee, I knew that coming into this week I was going to pick Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm taking the Steelers.
So originally I was picking the Steelers, but then
I wasn't sure until I heard that news.
Oh, I was originally thinking Pittsburgh, and then when I heard the news and saw that the spread in Vegas didn't really move much, I'm like, I don't know now. I think they're just factoring how good the Browns defense is. I mean, I haven't been giving the Browns much credit all season. I thought last week they weren't even going to. I thought the Baltimore would crush them, and I wasn't even right with that, and they even won. So my heart wants me to take Pittsburgh, but I'm thinking I got to go with. I'm going to go with Cleveland on this one.
Baltimore was kind of like they were beating them, they were crushing them, and then Cleveland said no. They said we're going to be in this game and we're going to win this game. So I wouldn't say your take was bad. In fact, it looked good for about a quarter and a half. The results are the results. So, but I just want to defend you a little bit. I mean, shoot, I mean, I think a lot of people thought Baltimore was going to win that game. But either way, no, I'm going to take the Steelers here. But actually, the Browns defense is really good. I don't want to shortchange them. And I still really like that Jerome Ford. I'm hoping he can kind of carry me in one of my fantasy leagues.
That's my point out while we're still on this matchup, how close that division is. And like how is Pittsburgh 6-3, you know?
Steeler football, right? I mean, it's its own brand. You can't explain it, and that's why it's Steeler football. I'll tell you this though, I didn't notice this till I'm looking at your fun doodles. Well, not your doodles, but the doodles that we have on commission or whatever. I enjoy that the AFC North, both teams are playing each other this week. That makes it even more exciting to talk about going into next week as far as where these teams are standing.
Yes,
what if all four teams tie?
That'd be
so wild. They all just tie.
I mean, that'd be crazy. I mean, or if all four go to the playoffs, that's also possible. Like not only the Steelers, but how the Browns 6-3. And I said, I don't think I'm giving enough credit.
Yeah, it is possible.
I don't think I'm giving them enough credit. I think that's what we should do in one of these, a separate video, just like recap the season.
I mean, the whole AFC North.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought
we definitely should. The people need to hear it.
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking something up. I think it caused a little lag there. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to take Cleveland. I actually had Pittsburgh circled when we started the show, but I just changed it over to Cleveland. So there's the second game we disagree on. So, yeah. And I don't think we're going to disagree.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey.
I don't think we're going to disagree on the next one. We got the Giants going to Washington. Two dumpster fires. And I said, sorry, there's a little lag there. Anything else you want to say on Cleveland? Otherwise, I'm taking Washington in this game.
No, I like it. We'll move right in. I think, speaking of not giving their credit, I probably should give Sam Howell props. I feel like I've been down on him on the show. I just, I guess it's just this argument I have in my head where it's like, is winning a quarterback stat? And I guess sometimes I'm just like, hey, like the results are the results. Like, and I think CJ Stroud kind of shows that. Like if CJ Stroud wasn't in Houston, that team's not winning don't have 5 wins right now. I don't think so. On some level it is the quarterback, but hey, on some level it's the other 10 around him. Sam Howell leads the league in passing yards, which I know that doesn't mean everything, but it is an impressive stat. Maybe he's kind of like a Blake Bortles where he'll have a few years here and maybe he can luck out and do something with it, as Blake Bortles kind of did that one year when they went to the championship game. But yeah, the Giants are a dumpster fire. I'm going to take the Washington Commanders. I will expect them to have a new head coach next year, and I kind of like Ron Rivera, but new ownership, a new management, I expect them to make some big changes next year. And then the only thing I'll say about the Giants is I love their logo that you have here.
And now I think the spread is 9.5. If obviously Washington favored, do you think they would cover the 9.5, or is that too much for them?
I'm not a betting man. I feel like you're pretty. I feel like you're gonna hate my answer. You're safe going either way. I mean, they could not. I mean, but the Giants. I mean, honestly, like, would you be shocked if the Giants won? I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be surprised.
Anytime it's a division game, I'm never shocked, to be honest. That's why I'm saying I could see the Giants.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd be surprised. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I don't even know I take it back. I don't even know if I'd be surprised. Like the Commanders almost beat Seattle last week, and maybe my tune would be different, but they didn't. And I knew like, I hate to be this guy because this is going to sound terrible, but I knew they wouldn't. They scored and took a lead. And I was like, I know Seattle's going to march down the field and do what they need to do to win. And they did.
Yeah, they did. They did. So, well, from another large spread to another big spread next game, we got Dallas going to Carolina. I think Bryce Young is gonna not be good this year. I know Carolina fans might be upset they didn't get Houston, CJ Stroud, but I think they're going to be fine in the next couple years with Bryce Young. But I'm taking Dallas in this game. Not even close.
I saw some stuff from Bryce Young on that Thursday night game against the Bears. Like I'm not saying I didn't see some things that he could probably work on, which I mean that's easy for me to say knowing nothing about quarterbacking. But I think he probably agreed. I saw some flashes, so I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys. That's a no-brainer. But I hope you're right. Like I don't dislike Carolina. Whatever.
Yeah, that's a 10.5 spread, so bigger than last game. And let's keep getting Dolphins. They're seeing Buffalo go down. They had a bye week last week, so they're going to try to come out hot.
Wow.
So yeah.
I'm going to do it. I'm taking the Raiders. Trap game for the Dolphins. I'm taking the Raiders. I'm doing it. You can make up your lost game on me with this one. Yep, you can make up your lost game with me on this one. Yep. I'm doing you a favor.
You don't need to do that. So I'm taking Miami because they had the bye week. I think they want to someone needs to stand out in that division. So I think they want to come out strong. What makes you take Vegas? You said just do it for a win?
I think this new head coach, I mean, I thought about it today, and I should take Miami. That's probably the smart move. But I'm going to take the Raiders. I think what's going to happen is Antonio Pierce, the Raiders are going to have a good year this year, and then Mark Davis is going to rehire him, and then it's going to be really bad. And it's just going to be this thing where Mark Davis cannot find the head coach. Like, he just can't. Like, it doesn't matter. And I know that's terrible. I don't wish that on Antonio Pierce, but like some things just are. And I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong. I'm not a fortune teller, but that's my prediction. The Raiders actually are in for a pretty good year right now. They're rallying around the firing of Josh McDaniels. They're rallying around each other. And Antonio Pierce has the practice squad players on the sidelines. The Dolphins are a good team. I don't know. I honestly don't know if they're a great team. I mean, I think they can be, but are they going to do it week in and week out? So far, no. So I'm going to pick the Raiders. And I think it's a wake-up game for Miami, more so than the Chiefs game was a couple weeks ago.
Dang. Hot take there for sure.
But that Deontay Achane could come in and just be like, I'm going to put up 300 yards on 5 carries. Like, like that they're getting that running back, and he looked great, right? I mean, smokes.
Definitely a hot take there. So
forgive me, I don't know his first name, but I believe it's Achane, the last name.
Who do you got? We'll move on. That's a hot take. I can't believe that. Okay, this will be another interesting division game. Tennessee going to Jacksonville. Who you got in this matchup?
Jacksonville. I'll take Jacksonville. I expect them to be better than they played against the Niners. The Niners are a really good team.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I think I was giving Will Levis too much credit when I took him the last 2 weeks against Pittsburgh and then against Tampa.
Agreed.
But you know what? I still stick with Mike Vrabel on the road as an underdog. Give me Tennessee. So we differ on this one.
Okay, all right. I think Jacksonville wins. I think that's a bold take. But Will Levis will get there. I mean, he's throwing to DeAndre Hopkins, which is great, but they'll figure it. I think that Tennessee will figure it out.
I think if I remember, the 4 of the last 6 seasons, I think it is. It's been a season sweep between these two, and they play week 18. So whoever wins this game, I would look to pick them for last week, just on random.
Okay. I lost you a little bit there, but I think I hit the gist of it. You've got some good fun facts, SamMeeBee.
I try. All right, we'll go on to a couple cute logos. We got Cardinals, who won, even though we both picked against them last week. Kyler Murray's back with them, going to Houston. I think the buck stops there. I think it was a 1 game. Maybe it was because of home field advantage. I think CJ Stroud's got that team rolling. They're excited. I'm taking Houston to win this game.
Oh, man. I'm going to take Houston as well, but maybe Kyler Murray shows that young kid, hey, I'm still here, man. I mean, Kyler Murray looked good last week. I mean, at least the highlights I saw. He looked spry coming off the ACL.
Yeah, he did. All right, and then we can go to the next.
I'm going to take Houston as well. I think they're more complete.
They have 2 of the top 3 picks from this past draft. So I think they're looking pretty
Will
good.
Anderson Jr. Yeah.
Yeah, looking pretty good. So,
Yeah.
now, I was wrong last week for taking Jacksonville over San Francisco. I learned my lesson, and Tampa is just going down. They're not looking good. I think they're going to get steamrolled, and we got the train trolley here about to run over them. I'm taking San Francisco.
I don't know if they get steamrolled, but I think you're right. Niners are going to win. I'm taking the Niners as well. And it's just brutal. As a Rams fan, I don't love it, but I got to be honest with myself. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Couple more division games coming up here. We got the New York Jets going to Buffalo Bills. Bills tank. I don't know if they're tanking or what they're doing, if it's on purpose or not. I think there's no way they can lose the Jets, right? But then again, they lost the Broncos. I don't know. But it's Zach Wilson, so give me the Bills.
They lost to the Jets in week 1.
They did.
I'm going to take the Bills, but like they did lose to the Jets in week 1, Sammy B. They can definitely lose again. I'm going to take the Bills. I expect them to be fired up after seeing Ken Dorsey out the door. I'm expecting a big game from the Bills, but if the Bills lose this one, I mean, their playoff chances go down quite a bit, I would guess, but we'll see.
Yeah, I heard a stat already actually today. It was reported if the Bills lose, their chances of making the playoffs go down to 8%.
Oh, there you go. I just kind of assumed because the AFC is so tough right now.
Yeah, I heard that stat earlier. So they would drop them down. And the NFC North, we talked about the Steelers division. That it's possible all 4 can make the playoffs with how strong that division is right now.
Sure.
Okay, and then last game before the primetime game, we got Seattle going to our team, the Los Angeles Rams. Woo! Break it down for me, Danny Stone. What you got on this one?
Tell you what, I think it's amazing what the AFC North is doing. And we've seen the NFC West be hyper competitive, highly competitive. I don't know if it has the same physicality and violence that the AFC North has. But we've seen the Cardinals, Rams, Niners, Seahawks all be competitive. But for this particular game, I said this when we did our preseason schedule. I expected the Rams to sweep Seattle this year because Seattle swept LA last year, the Rams. So I'm picking the Rams. I'm doing it.
I like it. I was thinking Seattle originally until I saw how bad they struggled against Washington. I think I'm giving them too much credit, so I'm taking the Rams as well.
Great. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm surprised we're both taking I think Seattle has looked better, but for real, like if the script was flipped and the Rams were 6-3 and Seattle was in 6, I would still say Seattle can beat the Rams. Like these two teams, doesn't matter who's won this, won that. And people might say Sean McVay's Pete Carroll more than the other way around, but Pete Carroll's a great coach. Seattle can win this game without a doubt, but I'm picking the Rams.
Yeah, I think it'd be a fun one to watch for sure.
Oh,
so
you lost me.
I don't know. Yeah, you're back. You cut out briefly. Streaming too many movies over there or something.
I just think both teams can beat each other. That's all. I mean, I turned everything. I don't know. I know it can't be your internet, Sandy. It's always got to be mine. That I know.
And it's one of the issues. Hey, it's the first time. We're doing it live, so you never know what happens, but it happens. So we're gonna move on over to the Sunday night game. Minnesota going to Denver, who I think's been picking up steam. They're looking better than I thought. They played last Monday night because NFL's weird this year. If you play Monday, you play Sunday, and some teams vice versa. Give me the Denver Broncos here.
Okay, all right. I'm going to take the Vikings. Pastronaut. I think Kevin O'Connell's a better coach than Sean Payton right now. That's why I picked the Vikings over New Orleans. I just thought Kevin O'Connell was a better coach. And I think Kevin O'Connell's crushing it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if we see this affect NFL players because they only play one game a week, but in NBA, we definitely see the high elevation affect some games. Usually, a little trick I do, if it's the playoffs, game 1, I usually take Denver at home. So little fun thing.
You're right. Yeah, and basketball. Yep. I remember you telling me that. You're right. That's a fair. You could be right, man, for sure.
Yeah. All right, and then we got a fun Monday night one. Both teams were on a bye last week, so both coming in fresh. But Kansas City was in England last week. We got Philadelphia going to Kansas City. I'll start this one. I'm feeling pretty good about both teams. I think it's gonna be a fun matchup. I think Philly has more weapons, but I'm gonna go with the home field advantage here. I'm taking Kansas City in this game.
Wow. I still think it's going to be Chiefs Eagles in the Super Bowl, and I think the Chiefs are going to win another Super Bowl.
Really?
I could be crazy. The Chiefs have not looked as dominant as years past, but I think that running game with Pacheco and that defense, they just got to get to the playoffs, and Patty will do enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think I like the weapons that Philadelphia has.
But I'm picking the Eagles for this game.
Love it, love it. I don't know how they have so many. I mean, they're 8-1. You gotta give them credit, but I think they have better weapons. But I'm going with the home team for sure.
The internet's going haywire, but I'm sorry we can't play off each other a little bit more. I know it's it's tough sledding.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the issues. We never had an issue, but we're live, so it can happen anytime. So we'll kind of wrap it up here. We disagreed on 6 different games. The games that was Cincinnati. So that's a lot. We haven't disagreed on that much in a while. Tonight, you have Cincy, you have Baltimore.
I agree.
You have Pittsburgh. I have Cleveland. You are going bold by taking Vegas. I have Miami. I'm going with the underdog, Mike Vrabel in Jacksonville. You got Minnesota, and I got Denver, and then Philly, Kansas City. So we'll see. I mean, maybe one of us will separate from the other one with the wins overall.
Any given Sunday. I was just looking down as you read them. I'm just like thinking any given Sunday, any of those games can go either way. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I was telling someone, they're like, "Oh, were you shocked by Denver winning or some of these games?" Like, so a lot of times I'm not shocked because anything can happen, So should be a fun weekend. I have no remarks.
The way the Denver game ended was shocking. I wasn't shocked